we had a Stevenage service, which is why I
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
But I watched it this morning.
Ah,
I actually happened to
right.
say that it was your
Oh,
birthday
dear.
and you were going down to Mosaic.
Never mind. Right, I'm just setting up this live streaming, which I've now done, I think. All right, good. Got it. All right. So if I now just make you the host,
Yeah.
then I shall see you in a different guise.
So is it a special birthday or just a...
No, 61.
Whoa.
Last year was the special one.
Mm.
Sort of slightly impacted by COVID, but we managed to get out for a meal.
That's good.
Outside.
Right, I am the host now. Yep, that's fine.
Excellent.
That's
Right.
fine.
Good. Okay. I will now leave if that's all right, Linda.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Head off
fine.
to the service. Okay. Hopefully it'll all carry on working.
See you later.
Okay. Yeah. See you later in a different guise. See ya. Cheers.
Okay then.
Bye.
Bye. Shabbat Shalom. You're muted. You're muted, Mark.
Sorry, yeah.
Shabbat
Morning.
Shalom.
Oh, good. Shabbos.
And to you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. It's been a bit of a crazy week. It's like, well, one thing's been strained on, and I thought it was sorted out, and then suddenly I heard the information that I know the job centre needed some more information, and it's been dragged on for about 3 or even 4 months.
Gosh,
it's been too mind blowing.
We can do that in this time of inflation and everything else.
Yes. It's too silly for words. Too silly.
Gosh. Yeah. Well, luckily I'm retired, so I don't have any problems like that anymore.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. So how have you been keeping this week?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, been busy. So family and other commitments.
Oh yes. It's Yeah. So have you any hobbies?
I paint. I used to
Oh,
be an art teacher, so now I'm retired, I can do my own stuff, and I also do ballet and tap lessons. So
that's good. It keeps you going.
yeah, very enjoyable.
Oh, right. Right. You've been doing it for a long time?
Yeah, quite a long time. I used to do it when I was young, and then I did it until the teacher I had sort of went somewhere else, and then I started up in my current school that I go to in about 2012. So I've been there for 2012, 10 years. So
Gosh, yeah. And you enjoying it, obviously?
oh yeah, love it. I'm not very
Ah,
good, don't get me wrong. And being older, I mean, particularly as you progress up,
mm,
especially app, like it's so fast that my
mm.
brain doesn't like if we do it, practice it slowly, that's okay. And as soon as the music starts and it's really fast, my mind and my feet don't sort of work at the same time. So so it's kind of like, whoa, what am I doing? But it's still fun.
Oh gosh, yeah. That I sort of see what you mean. It's with me and the iPhone. I do certain things on the iPhone, but anything else, there's other things coming in. I just don't bother with it. I guess I'm from old school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I remember the first text message I ever sent, and I didn't realize that you could space words out and put punctuation in. So it was
Oh
literally
no!
one long line of letters.
Oh no!
Mm,
But you know what? You learn something new every day.
you do.
Oh my goodness me! Well, I hope the reply. Well, this is what you can do, and hopefully you can do a bit better next time, or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no! But yes, we all have our moments, you might say. Uh, but you know what? I still got 10 or 15 years left of work,
Oh,
and then I can sort of retire. I've got so many hobbies. I've got so many things I like to do. But there's only about a third of my I can do, but it's called life.
what do you do? What can you do?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I suppose I sometimes like to go to the cinema. There's one, two people I can perhaps go. I know. I've been. What was it? Play table tennis or play pool. But there's someone I know who I can perhaps go to Watford to play pool. There's a certain place I need to go to, which is on the other side of London. But I suppose now I can do it.
Yeah.
But when there's so many things going on, and when this situation is going on, and that is when I received two bills. One of them was to say that you haven't paid your £440. Now I'm going to give you a week to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to send you to court. And this was straight off a pandemic. And then I think about 2 months later, they received like two more letters, and one of them is saying, "We're going to summon you to court, and you're going to be there for 10 days' time."
Oh, gosh.
Yes. And
Right.
the other letter was saying, instead of having two bills, I now got a third bill, and yet there's no paperwork to it at all. Yes, it's called mind boggles.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yes. Mm. But hopefully all that will be over. I'm just hoping. I'm going to try and not think about it too much about it. Mm.
Yeah. Hard
Yeah,
though.
yeah. And two, where's everyone?
Where is everyone?
Yes.
Well, it's only 22.
Oh.
Stephen has just gone down to join in person, and I expect people will start arriving sort of from now.
It's just the two of us.
At the moment, there will be more.
Yes, yeah.
They've got to join from the Avanti as well. So when they set up, they've got to join. Otherwise, we haven't got a service to follow. Or I could do you a service, but I don't think that's quite the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yes. Well, it is different, and maybe we're just not rushing because it's too warm at the moment.
Too warm. It's not supposed to be warm here in Stevenage. It's not.
It's
okay. It's about 17, I think, at the moment. Not too bad.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it gets really hot, though.
Yes. Yes. It's cold. You need to drink a lot more water.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So I know it's a personal, but you had a good sleep last night, Linda?
Well, actually, no, I didn't, because we had our first Friday night in-person service in Stevenage last night, and I'm sort of heavily involved in that, and I didn't get home till about 10:15, and by which time I wasn't tired, so I kind of like couldn't sleep. So I don't know if you do Wordle or anything like that. To get the word, it's got 5 letters, and you have how many goes to guess it? 6 goes, I think, to guess it. Well, it starts at the new one every day starts at midnight. So at midnight I was doing my Wordle, and then Quordle, which is 4 words, and then at 1 o'clock my daughter's got a baby, and the baby must have obviously woken up to feed, and I was having a WhatsApp conversation with my daughter at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Like you.
And then when I did fall asleep, I woke up at 6 o'clock. So.
Oh no, like you do. Oh no. Oh well. There's not a lot that one can say about that. Not a lot.
No. Did you sleep all right last night?
Well, I think I did actually. Yes, I must admit I did sort of. Woke up about half past 4 this morning. Apparently, I don't know. I was sort of like I don't know, maybe running through a allotment, and I was sort of. I've been running along this road, and then I heard in the background that there's a dinosaur coming, and dinosaurs. Yes, and dinosaurs usually have a tail and sort of whip things. So I saw these stairs, went down them, and they were made out of plastic. And I thought, shall I go down there? And I thought, well, why am I doing it? But it come up, but then I realized there's a dinosaur coming. So I decided to go down, and then suddenly some of the stairs sort of got cracked up, maybe because of what the dinosaur did. So I sort of decided to go down, but maybe I shouldn't go down too far. And then I woke up.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. I've never had a dream about dinosaurs. Or maybe I saw a program with David Attenborough.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope they're not having technical problems at the Avanti again. The last time I was hosting, they were having technical problems and they couldn't get signed on properly. So I hope that's the case.
Yes, and then because of that, the service took place on in another service.
Yeah, that was another time.
Oh yeah.
No, it wasn't. Was it?
No.
Yeah, they joined with Reform because their tech person wasn't there. But the time I'm talking about was
Oh.
literally just technical problems with the computer and
Oh,
setting everything up.
oh, goodness. Oh, hang on. It went to someone's home.
And that was another time.
Oh, oh, gosh.
That was the time that nobody came to open up. So they were
Oh,
all standing and
yes, the caretaker didn't turn
yeah.
up. Oh no. Oh no. Oh well, fun times.
Yeah.
If that's what you can call fun times.
Well, it all worked out okay in the end.
Oh yes. Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost feel like saying, would you eventually forgive Boris and his yes. Yes.
Apparently he's changed the rules of whatever it is that in Parliament that that means that they should resign if they break the ministerial code, and he's changed it so it's okay now if you apologize or if you just lose some pay.
I suppose as he's a prime minister, he can get away with it.
Yeah, he shouldn't though. It's terrible what he's
I suppose, but the Labour leader, he says that if the police says that he's been fined £50, he'll do the decent thing and resign. So he's setting a good example, and he's sort of waiting. But we will wait.
Well, I must admit, I'm more likely to believe that it was during the campaigning and Keir Starmer's drink and food was at the end of a working day and part of the working thing, as opposed to, Boris not realizing that there was an event taking place when he'd passed through and got himself a drink of wine.
Yes, and even Sir Carmen says, I don't think I'm breaking any rule. And do you know what? I don't think he has done. It's like there's a difference between having a meal and a wine. Matt considers a party. Boris is trying to be sneaky.
Oh, he's always.
You've been bollocking me, but what about you?
No, I just find that when you watch him, he kind of like smirks all the time. So he's always got a smirk on his face.
Yes. I must admit, there was another an MP who had no. Hang on. There was an MP, Michael Patella. He had a smirk about him.
Oh, here we go. Mosaic Liberal have just joined. Co-host, who's that? Matt Imaging. Oh, here we go. There we go. That's Avanti. It's because Rabbi Goldstein, Andrew Goldstein, is taking the service today, and I just saw his wife.
Good.
Yeah. Pat Zatz, you can see.
Oh.
So we're not alone.
Good. Well, it is 10 minutes to, so.
Yeah. I must admit, I find it quite fascinating watching them set up. So.
Yes, how people do it, really. Yes. Yes, I could say, but I think I'll refrain from saying it. Yes. It's a silly question. Are you interested in sports?
Not overly. I don't do any sports. I like watching tennis and sometimes swimming and athletics, but I'm not really my sons are both mad keen on football, so you know, I have to suffer with that.
I see. Well, yes. Well,
Do you follow a
pardon.
team?
Yes.
Do you follow anyone?
Oh, yes. I follow West Ham United. And now they've done rather well this season. At one point, they were top of the Premiership for about 2 weeks. I must admit, it was quite some time ago, but it was at the top, and now we're sort of finished at I think it's number 7.
Oh, not bad.
And so we haven't done rather well. I think we might have, I don't know, maybe qualified for one of the tournaments next season. And well, the next season will be about 3 or 4 months' time. The last football, the last day was last weekend.
Yeah,
so
my son went because my son that lives here supports Crystal Palace, so he went down to watch Crystal Palace. I can see Rania. Hello, Rania. I don't know if we can hear us. I don't think they can. But Rania is there talking to Rabbi Andrew.
Oh.
Rania's normally online, but she's there in person. So.
Yes. And what about your other son?
Oh, he supports Tottenham.
Yes. My I have an uncle who supports Spurs. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he supports Tottenham. But,
yes, and they got a brand new stadium as well.
Yeah, but yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he gets to see that many matches in person, but he still supports them. So, Mosaic Liberal are still muted, so I hope they're not. Oh no, it's too early to start.
Gosh, yes. Well, it is about less than 10 minutes. I must admit, I think one time I saw at one meeting, it was even I think about 5 to 11, and this was my community, and there was hardly anyone come in, and it was about 5 minutes ago, and suddenly they came in a rush. Yes, but yes. Now that is all I can say. It is yes.
Yeah, I'm just checking. I just got a sort of notifications through, but it wasn't anything important. So. No, I can't understand everybody is.
Yes, I know. It's now like yes. I'm wondering. There's hardly anyone about.
Well, maybe they're all there.
Yes. It could be another technical problem. Yes, and I think that also includes you as well.
Oh, there we go. I'm back.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 But there's sort of one other person, but it's amazing. One other person in the week, it's about 5 more minutes. It could be a technical problem, or it could be too warm. People not coming. It's too warm.
Yeah. Well.
Yes.
We didn't start our service last night in Stevenage till really late. We were so behind because we were not used to setting up live services. So, and there weren't that many of us there. So it took a bit of time to set up and we were late.
Well, there's always the first time for everything. That's the old saying goes.
Yeah.
You know that our unfortunate bills are going to go up like and there's about 10 or even 15 billion pounds in the kitty, but it's almost as if that's come from nowhere, but it's useful.
Better than nothing.
Yes. But on the other hand, it's something because I realised we just come from a pandemic and we're starting fresh, and suddenly we got this bill coming in, so it's going to be difficult. So it's almost as if you might have to dip in the reserve, or try and get profits from the gas company, as they've just announced a massive profit.
Oh, so any Lana join. Come in. Here we go. Shabbat Shalom, Sue and Elan.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, and good Shabbos as well. Yes. At the moment, there's just a few of us, really.
Yeah. Shabbat Shalom, George and Mary.
No, it's an absolute doddle. It was so easy.
They started.
The room is winning over the Zoom for the first time. The room is beating the Zoom in numbers for the first time for a while. Yeah.
Good Shabbos over there.
Nice to do already. Oh. Shalom, Eva.
Shalom, everyone.
Everybody.
Can we show people the?
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I think that I look at the people online, and it's nice to see you. We have hundreds of people here in our synagogue, but it's wonderful to see you and the wonders of technology that we can all join.
Give them a wave.
Together.
That's
there you go.
Lots of people.
Nice.
Where are they?
I'm actually making a note of those people who couldn't actually get out of bed to come and join us here, but other than that, we hope that you enjoy the service over there. And I don't know, he didn't tell me he wasn't coming, so we do need somebody to do the Torah blessings. You've been assigned, have you?
I have already. Yes.
You've been assigned, okay.
I don't think anybody's been chosen to do the three hosts.
The what?
You know, the royal family and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, will someone do the royal family a week before the Jewellery?
Always. I'm the royal family.
Okay, we have a French royal family, that sort of thing, and someone going to do Israel.
I'd love to do
Oh God.
Israel and Danielle, you can do the congregation then. Okay, good. I think we're almost there.
Yeah.
I got a feeling we probably ought to close. I mean, I can hear the service next door, and we're going to make a louder noise than them. And while you were tinkling, I did stand in the corridor. And
either way is fine.
I mean, it's your congregation, not mine. If you want to start the row between you and the Reformer,
it's already started.
I think probably best to leave it open with the flow.
Let the flow of air. COVID, lovely. We're going to do the fifth service on page 129, page 129.
129, Mary.
Just before we start, just to welcome you, Andrew, and Sharon here.
Oh.
And thank you very much for taking the service this morning.
Okay, thank you. You should say that at the end. You may, what I'm going to say, you may not agree with and decide that. But thank you for the welcome. And well, I think we have to ask the people online to, unless our operator can do it, to mute themselves.
Yep.
Yep.
They'll do it, I'm sure.
Until we need. Okay, thank you. And please rise.
ואני ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך אשתך ואלך על קודשך ביראתך מה טובו אוהלי יעקב משכנותיך ישראל Adonai ahavti me'on betecha u'makom mishkan kavodecha mishkan kvodecha ve'ani eshtahavei ve'efraha lifnei Adonai תפילתי לך, אדוני עת רצון, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, ענני באמת ישעך. מה טובו, מה טובו, משכנותיך ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהלי יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, משכנותיך
Source of light, of truth, and of the impulse towards us, towards justice and mercy. May this hour of worship be one of vision and inspiration. Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Let the words we speak enter our hearts and influence our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary and join us from their own sanctuaries at home. all in need of comfort and consolation. May the offering of their hearts be acceptable to you, and may the prayers we utter here bear fruit in acts of kindness, peace, and love. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You sanctify us with your commandments and enjoin us to study your teaching. With what shall I approach the Eternal One? Shall I come before God with burnt offerings? Will God be pleased with thousands of rams? Or with 10,000 rivers of oil? Should I give my firstborn for my transgressions? The fruit of my body for the sins of my soul? People tell you what is good, but what does the Eternal One require of you? Only to do justly and love mercy and walk humbly with your God. These are actions which bring benefit here and now, but whose full value can be measured only in the light of eternity. Honouring your father and mother, acts of love and kindness, diligent pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, hospitality to strangers, visiting the sick, enabling bride and groom to rejoice, consoling the bereaved, praying with sincerity, and making peace where there is strife. And the study of Torah leads to them all. Eternal God, may the words of Torah taste sweet to us and to all Israel, that we and our children and all the children of your people may come to know you by studying Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of your people Israel. And together, Baruch Shema v'haya olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המהולל בפי עמו, משובח ומפואר בלשון חסידה ועבדה, בשבחות ובזמירות, נתגלך מלכך, מלכנו, יחיד חיי העולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מהולל ותשבח. Sing for joy to the Eternal One, you who are righteous. For the upright do well to give praise. Give thanks to the Eternal One with the lyre. Make music to God with a 10-stringed harp. Sing to God a new song. Play well with shouts of joy. For God's word holds good. God's every deed is done in faithfulness. The Eternal One loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of God's kindness. By the Eternal One's word the heavens were made. And all their hosts by the breath of God's mouth. At the divine command the ocean waves rise. All gather instead in the vaults of the deep. Let all the earth revere the Eternal One. Let all who dwell there stand in awe of God. Who spoke, and it was. Who commanded, and it stood firm. Echa ashir al yom v'alayla, ve'elohim hu yitzaram. Echa ashir al shamayim va'aretz, ve'elohim hu yisadam. Echa ashir al harimu gvaot ve'elohim hu teva'am. Echa ashir al yamim v'tziot ve'elohim hu chololam. Echa ashir al tevel umeloah ve'elohim hu tzivam. Ashir yotzer hakol v'na'aleh al kol le'elohim ashira.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 b'kodsho, hallelujah, b'kira uzo, hallelujah, b'gvuratav, hallelujah, God of good Lord. Hallelujah, 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 בתקע שופר, hallelujah, בנבל וכינור, hallelujah, בטוף ומחול, hallelujah, במינים ועוקב, hallelujah, 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 ובצלצלי תרועה, כל חג שמע תהלליה, הללו, הללויה, הללו, 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 הללו.
Please rise. And together we read, Praise be your name, eternal God, in heaven and on earth. To you, our God and God of our ancestors, let hymns and psalms be sung. To you all praise and thanks are due from now and forever. We praise you, O God. May you accept our songs of praise. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Praise the one to whom our praise is due. We praise the eternal one, to whom our praise is due forever. Please sit down. And let's read together. We praise you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of the universe, maker of light and creator of darkness, author of peace and creator of all things. In your mercy you give light to the earth and all who live on it. And in your goodness you renew creation continually, day by day. How manifold are your works, O God! With wisdom have you made them all. The world is full of your creations. Your handiwork proclaims your praise. The radiant stars bear witness to your glory. We praise you, O God, creator of light. Ahava rabba ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu. Chemla gadola v'teira chamalta aleinu. Avinu malkeinu ba'avor avotenu shebatachu v'cha. V'talamdeim chukei chaim. Kein techonenu utelamdenu, v'tein belibenu l'haskil. Lishmor lilmod u'lelamed. Lishmor v'la'asot u'lekayem et kol divrei toratecha b'yahava. V'ha'e einenu b'toratecha. V'dabek libenu b'mitzvotecha. V'yached levavenu l'yahava u'l'yira et shemecha. Kivanu v'acharta l'yachedecha b'yahava. Baruch ata Adonai. Habocher ba'amo Yisrael. Please rise. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai
את אדוני אלוהיך, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. היו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
and beautiful and true. Sound, established and enduring are these words now and forever. True it is, Eternal One, that you are our sovereign God and Redeemer, as you were the God and Redeemer of our ancestors. You are our Maker, the rock of our salvation. We've known you always as our helper and our liberator. There is no God but you. Truly you are first and you are last. We have no Redeemer but you. For you redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then, with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song.
שבחו גאולים לשמך שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמלכו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם Israel, Uma Bezrat Israel, Goalenu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kadosh Israel, Baruch Atah Adonai, God Israel.
Please rise. Adonai, Savatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka. Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora. El Elyon. Gomel chasadim tovim v'konei hakol. וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, מביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, וחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. We sanctify your name on earth, as in the prophet's vision the hosts of heaven sing your praise above, for so it is written.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, v'lo kol haaretz kavodo.
Kavodo male olam.
Baruch kavod Adonai mimkomo.
Mimkomecha malkeinu tofia. V'timloch aleinu ki mechakim anachnu lach.
Yemloch Adonai le'olam Elohai Zion L'tovato Hallelujah L'tovato L'tovato Nagid God Lecha L'tovato L'tovato נגיד God Lecha לנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please sit down. And again, let's read together. You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. May our worship help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness and consecrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful, and good.
ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שומרי שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. מקדשי, מקדשי, מקדשי שבי שבת. כולם יספו, כולם יספו, ויתענגו מטובך שבת. והשביעי עשית בו, וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי שומרי שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת.
Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amacha Yisrael, utefilatan be'ahava tekabel, utehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. And together modim anachnu lach, she'atah hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu li'olam va'ed. Tzur chayenu magen yishenu, atah hu ledor vador. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך, על חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך אשר בכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך, שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, לך נאה להודות. And as we read together the prayer for peace, I'm sure our minds go from this sunny day in this safe country, and we think of all those at this moment who are going through indescribable suffering and injury and death, and one just wonders about their thoughts for the future, where it's all going to end, and our thoughts for the future, where this terrible war will leave not just those suffering people in the Ukraine and in Russia, but the whole world, how it will affect. And I don't know what prayers do at such a time, except maybe give us a little hope. Let's read those ancient words together in the ancient language and pray for peace. Sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael amecha. Barachenu avinu kulanu ke'echad be'or panecha. Ki ve'or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu. Torat chaim v'yachavat chesed. Utzdaka uvracha, rachamim v'chaim v'shalom. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amecha Yisrael. Ve'et kol ha'amim. B'chol eit u'v'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Osei HaShalom. We praise you, O God, the source of peace.
Say shalom b'Ramah, Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol bnei Adam. Say shalom b'Ramah, Uyaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Bnei Adam.
So on page 481, our Torah service on page 481. There is none like you, Eternal One, among the gods people worship, and there are no deeds like yours. Your sovereignty is everlasting, your reign endures from age to age.
En kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'en kamasecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlul Adonai iti un romamach Shemo, Yachtav.
L'Adonai, Hagdula, Bahagura, Bahatifer, Bahanetza, Bahachot, Bahanetza, Bahachot, Kichol, Bashamayim, Uvaretz, L'Adonai, HaMamlecha, V'Hamitnaseh, Ahol, L'Rosh.
Please sit down. I'm not sure which Torah portion to read. I hadn't checked up on what Mosaic Liberal was reading. You see, a bit of a problem at this time because the Liberal lectionary has the Torah readings 1 week ahead of what the rest of the world is reading. And it's a bit confusing. I mean, the American Reform and the Israeli Reform stick to the, I have to say, the Orthodox cycle. And we sort of being getting, I don't know, it goes back to Pesach, when first day Pesach was on a Shabbos, and therefore which Torah reading do you read, and so on, and all sort of complications. And I have to say, when I was an active rabbi, I always kept to the traditional or the rest of the world's portion, because I had people who, in those days, the Jewish Chronicle used to have a whole page on the Sedra of the week. And people would read it, and they'd come to shul, and they'd find out that I was reading the wrong Sedra, but I wasn't, but you know, anyway, so it matters. But then I thought, what shall I read? And then I looked. This week's liberal Sedra is Bamidbar. Bamidbar it all starts with a long list of names. The whole thing is doing names. Very fascinating if you're intrigued by names, including the fact of all of the names of each of the tribe, one by one the tribes, and then one by one all the names of the leaders of the tribes. Only 2 of them ever appear again in the Torah. And that's Nachshon and Aminadav, but all the rest of them don't appear. So it's a very strange thing to have your name at the census, as it were. And the other thing is that why are their names listed? It was because they're names that were listed. All of those who were 20 years and older who were liable to get called up for the army. Interesting, 20 years, and in those days when people, 20, you're an old man by then, and it was an interesting thing. And then I looked at the week before, Bechukotai, and that was reward and punishment, and we're a bit iffy on reward and punishment. Does it always work? I'm not so sure. Well, we could give a sermon on that, but anyway. And then I decided to be a real liberal Jew. As you probably know, I'm a real liberal Jew. And to do what the late Bernard Hooker did in Birmingham when I was a child, and choose something, when he saw something in the Torah he didn't like, or something that wasn't the most edifying, he'd choose something else. That's liberal Judaism. So I'm going to do the same in honour of Bernard Hooker, bless him. And so I'm going to read something from Deuteronomy chapter 12, I think it is, yeah. The reason being is that tomorrow is a Jerusalem day, and I'm going to refer to that again. And we have this passage from the Torah which talks about one thing. You see, Deuteronomy was written clearly after they'd got into the land, but it purports to say it was given on Mount Sinai to Moses several hundreds of years earlier. And what it wants to say is there's only one place in the land that you're going to that you can worship God, and that's Jerusalem. But he can't say that because it would have given the game away. So as we will see, it talks about, and you shall only worship in the place where I choose my name to be associated with it. And so it's this sort of thing. All through the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about the single place where you could worship God, and that was, or sacrifice God to God, and therefore that it's this key word. And you shall go to the place where I choose my name to be called upon it, and so there's the connection with Jerusalem in the Torah, the only obviously mention of Jerusalem, because it hadn't been invented by the time Torah had been was written. And so we're going to read this passage. It's also a reminder of something else that's very sad. And I'm standing here, those of you who can't see it, but I'm standing here in this room in this Hindu school. And ahead of me, it's a junior school, I think, ahead of me are the 5 pillars of Islam. And I'm thinking, here I'm standing here in this Hindu school looking at the 5 pillars of Islam. And as I said earlier, the only other thing is behind the side of the Hindu shrine, there's a list of religions, and Judaism's at the top. But the connection with the Torah portion is that you'll see it's also talking about something of which I'm sure as liberal Jews we would have a bit of a problem with, and that is, in order to make Jerusalem the only shrine, you've got to get rid of all of the other shrines. So it's a bit of a mixed blessing, but we're going to read that. And if you're, as far as the Torah is concerned, I have to tell you, this is not the one that I've been reading from when I've been doing the Zoom services. That was a paper Torah. This one is a real Torah with a bit of a history. It was written at the beginning of the 20th century in Liverpool, or for the rabbi of Liverpool, the Reverend Harris. And it was passed down into the family, and must have been his grandson, was a member of Northwood, and he donated it to the synagogue. The Reverend Harris fits in a way with the theme of what I'm talking about, because the Reverend Harris was the minister of the main synagogue in Liverpool, that wonderful Princes Road synagogue. But he got, in the First World War, he got sacked because he was a pacifist. And so it's an interesting sort of thing, the Reverend Harris, quite a story there. He lost his job because in the First World War he was a pacifist. So let's have the translation, and we'll have the Torah blessing.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach la'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai notein ha'torah. Translation. Okay. Yeah. These are the laws and rules that you must carefully observe in the land that Adonai, God of your ancestors, is giving you to possess as long as you live on earth. You must destroy all the sites at which the nations you are dispossessing worship their gods, whether on high mountains and on hills or under any luxuriant tree. Tear down their altars, smash their pillars, burn their sacred posts in the fire, and cut down the images of their gods, obliterating their names from that site. Do not worship your God Adonai in a like manner, but look only to the place that Adonai your God will choose from among all your tribes as God's habitation, to establish the divine name there. There you are to go. And there you are to bring your burnt offerings and other sacrifices, your tithes and contributions, your votive and free will offerings, and the firstborn of your herd and flocks. Together with your households, you shall feast there before Adonai your God, happy in all the undertakings in which your God, Adonai, has blessed you. You are not to do as we do here now, each of us doing as we please, because you have not yet reached the allotted haven that Adonai your God is giving you. But you will cross the Jordan and settle in the land that Adonai your God is allotting to you, and God will grant you safety from all your enemies around you, and you will live in security. Then you must bring everything that I command you to the site where your God Adonai will choose to establish the divine name. Your burnt offerings and other sacrifices, your tithes and contributions, and all the choice votive offerings that you vow to Adonai. And you shall rejoice before Adonai your God with your sons and daughters, and with your male and female servants, along with the family of the Levite in your settlements, for he has no territorial allotment among you. Done the Hebrew.
You're going to do the blessing before? Did you
did
do
the blessing earlier.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. That's what happens. אלה החוקים ומשפטים אשר תשמעון לעשות בארץ אשר נתן אדוני אלוהי אבותיך לך לרשתה כל הימים אשר אתם חיים על האדמה ותעבדון את כל המקומות אשר עבדו שם הגויים אשר אתם יורשים אותם את אלוהיהם על ההרים הרמונים ועל הגבעות ותחת כל עץ רענן וניצבתם את מזבחותיכם ושיברתם את מצבותיכם ואשריכם תשרפון באש ופסילי אלוהיהם תיגעון ועבדם את שמם מן המקום ההוא לא תעשו כן לאדוני אלוהיכם כי אם אל המקום אשר יבחר אדוני אלוהיכם מכל השבטיכם לשום את שמו שם ושכנו תדרשו ובעת שמה והבאתם שמה עולותיכם וזבחיכם ואת מסרותיכם ואת תרומת ידיכם ונדרכם ונידבתכם וברכך בקרב ובקרת בקרכם וצונכם ואליתם ואכלתם שם לפני אדוני אלוהיכם ושמחתם בכל משלח ידיכם אותם ובתיכם אשר ברכך אדוני אלוהיך לא תעשון ככל אשר אנחנו עושים פה היום איש כל הישר בעיניו כי לא באתם עד אתם אל המנוחה אל הנחלה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך ועברתם את הירדן וישבתם בארץ אשר אדוני אלוהיכם מנחיל אתכם והניח לכם מכל אויביכם מסביב וישבתם בטח והיה במקום אשר יבחר אדוני אלוהיכם בו ושכן שמו שם שמה תביאו את כל אשר אנוכי מצווך אתכם עולותיכם וזבחיכם אשרותיכם ותרומת ידיכם וכל ברכת נדריכם אשר תדרשו אדוני ושמחתם לפני אדוני אלוהיכם אתם ובניכם ועבדיכם ואמתיכם והלוי אשר בשעריכם כי אין לו חלק ונחלה אתכם תשמעון לך.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael Yigushato.
Thank you, Steve. Please sit down. Well, not only is my memory going, because I've forgotten we'd already done the blessings, but my eyes are not so good, and I can tell you the text is very small. And so just again on the theme of Jerusalem and the special place, and from the book of Amos, the earliest of the prophets. And yet we'll see in the book of Amos, chapter 9, I think it is, that already Amos is talking about a return and the re-establishment of Jerusalem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha b'nviim tovim v'retzav v'divreihem hanemarim ba'emet. Baruch atah Adonai הבוהה בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. In that day I will set again the falling tabernacle of David. I will mend its breaches and restore its ruins. I will build it as in the days of old, so that they may possess the rest of Edom and all the nations that bear my name, declares the Eternal One, who will bring this to pass. Behold, a time is coming, declares the Eternal One, when the ploughman shall meet the reaper and the treader of grapes, one who holds the bag of seed, when the mountains shall drip sweet wine and all the hills shall wave with grain. And I will restore my people Israel. They shall rebuild the ruined cities and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and drink their wine. They shall also make gardens and eat their fruit. And I will plant them upon their soil, never again to be uprooted from the land I have given them, says the Eternal One, your God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol ha'alamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamdaber u'mkayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'navim ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ותפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. אמן.
And so we continue with our service on page 484. Please rise.
Eternal God.
Do you want to come here, I think, and read it so people can see you?
Yeah. Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing for our sovereign lady, Queen Elizabeth, and all the royal family, though those who govern our country and all who influence the quality of its national life. Make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity.
Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders and its members, and all who enter this synagogue to meet, to study, and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us and heal those in anxiety or pain. May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage, and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the House of Israel throughout the world. Let those who live under oppressive rule soon be freed, and may we all unite to witness to your truth and do your will.
And before Israel, maybe a prayer for those who in need of healing. Misha berach avotenu mekor chabracha ve'imotenu. May God bless those in need of healing with the refuah shalema, the renewal of body and spirit. And let us say Amen.
Amen.
And do you want to name any people in need of healing at this moment?
Sandy Amber, Brenda Hunt.
My cousin Nikki.
And others we're thinking of at this moment?
My friend Amy, my friend Soba, and my friend Jean-Michel.
You're on screen. You're on screen.
On the screen. Anybody?
Yeah.
Yes, please unmute yourself if you'd like to say a name.
Yeah. Shirley.
Any others? Misha barach avotenu v'imotenu. Yishlach lahem mechera refuat shalema min hashamayim, refuat hanefesh u'refuat hagev, v'shta ba'agalar v'zman kariv v'imeru. Amen. And now the prayer for Israel.
Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbours, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision that out of Zion shall go forth Torah and the word of God from Jerusalem.
And to add to the blessings, having had a long series, here on the last Shabbat of the month, we have birthday blessings. So we know of one birthday. I've always been. So will you return up here?
I won't trip up either. Otherwise I might not have a 60-second.
And so I'm sure you'll join with me.
Anyone else had a birthday?
Anyone on there?
Oh,
yes.
Aoife. Happy birthday.
Okay, so it's all a bit divided. I don't know where to look, but for both of you, we say this prayer. God of days and years, author of life, our times are in your hand. And we thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. And we gather together, whether we're here in the sanctuary or in your home sanctuaries, we all unite in sharing the happiness of your special day. And we pray that you'll be blessed with health and happiness, and with the strength to overcome any sickness that comes your way. And please God, may that not be a regular occurrence, and may you continue in good health to enjoy many more days. May we have the joy of coming together with you on many occasions, united by mutual respect and love for God. Then will our lives be filled with abundance and blessing. And so we say together that blessing in which we thank God for giving us life, for being with us throughout the days of our life, and for allowing us to have yet another happy occasion in our lives. And let's all join in that blessing of Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shechianu v'kirmanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh. add another blessing that I know that you all know and can join with me if you want to. That very special blessing. Yavarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And that word, which is not too difficult to remember, Mazel Tov. Happy birthday.
Shall we sing for them?
Yes, we will.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stephen and Aoife. Happy birthday to you.
And finally, one other blessing for the new month. The new month of Sivan, which reminds us we're just a week away from Shavuot, and we're sort of so delighted that the Queen chose to have her Jubilee on Shavuot, and it just shows how she regards us. Anyway, this is one of the, for me, one of the best prayers in the prayer book.
That's great.
Eternal One, our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month be for us a time of renewal. Grant to each one of us a long life of peace, welfare and blessing, a life of prosperity and health, a life guided by conscience, unmarred by self-reproach or shame, a life exalted by love of Torah and the reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts may be fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Sivan, Yeh B'Yom Shlishi, the new month of Sivan, will begin on Tuesday. May it be the will of the Holy One ever to be praised, that it bring for us and the whole house of Israel life and peace, happiness and joy, deliverance and consolation. And let us say, Amen. Yahalelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado.
Hodo al eretz v'shamayim, v'yarem keret le'amo, le'ila, l'chol chasida, livnei Yisrael, am karobo. Alleluia, alleluia.
Behold, a good doctrine has been given to you, do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Help us to return to you, O God. Then we shall return, renew our days as in the past.
Ki lecha tov natati lahem, Torati azazovu, etz hayim li lamachazikim ba, v'tomecheha meusha, derachecha da'enoam, l'chol netivoteha shalom. Ashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashova chadesh yameinu v'kedem chadesh yameinu
A question often discussed at different times in liberal Jewish circles, not just the Torah portion we read, but do we celebrate Purim? Our founding generations were not only ignored the festival, but wrote in their textbooks why it was wrong to celebrate it. It was not the sort of things that liberal Jews could intellectually accept. Over time, opinions changed, Though some synagogues, like my own, celebrate only half-heartedly, never got the koyach to do something special on the day. But at least Purim is biblical. Similar differences of opinion rest with Yom Yerushalayim, the latest festival that some would add to the calendar. Though every Shabbat seems to be dedicated to some other contemporary cause. I mean, we're asked to do Black Lives Matter, mental health. Week by week, they're inventing new reasons to celebrate, all of them worthy. But does it take away from the special nature of Shabbat itself? But Yom Yerushalayim. Some Orthodox Zionist rabbis declare that it should be celebrated as a full Chag with Hallel recited. Others say celebrate but not give it the full liturgical importance. Of course, the Satmar Hasidim and their ilk ignore it, as they don't even accept the existence of Israel itself, even though they live there. But for most Israelis, I suspect it's just another day off work. And for most progressive Jews, it presents a bit of a conundrum. Yom Yerushalayim was instituted in 1968 and declared a public holiday in 1998 to be celebrated on the 28th of Iyar. It's the Hebrew date on which the old city of Jerusalem was captured during the Six-Day War in 1967, an event that promoted unbridled joy across the Jewish world, but the reality of the consequences of that event have bridled the joy for many people. Let's remind ourselves of a few facts. That in 1947, the United Nations Petition Plan for Palestine proposed that Jerusalem be declared an international city, and the Jewish leaders at the time accepted that compromise. But the Arabs rejected it, and in the war that followed, the old city of Jerusalem was captured by the Arabs and incorporated into the state of Jordan. There it remained until the Six-Day War. And remember, the Jews living in the city were evicted. Jewish property was confiscated and much of it knocked down. Half of the 58 synagogues were destroyed, and Jews were forbidden to enter and given no access to their historic holy site, which I recall back then we used to call it the Wailing Wall. And Israelis living across the no man's land in Western Jerusalem suffered occasional sniper attacks from Jordanian soldiers. It was a sad stalemate. Yehuda Amichai at the time wrote, "We have put up many flags, they have put up many flags, to make us think they're happy, to make them think we're happy." But neither were. And then in June 1967, the Israeli army, much to their own surprise, after warning the Jordanians not to enter the war, but to no avail, captured Jerusalem and the whole West Bank of the Kingdom of Jordan. A historic photograph of Moshe Dayan at the Western Wall comes to mind, and his bold statement then, "We did not come to Jerusalem for the sake of other people's holy places, and not to interfere with the adherents of other faiths, but in order to safeguard its entirety and to live there together with others in unity." Well, sadly, over the years, that promised status quo has been eroded, and the hope, pray for the peace of Jerusalem, has been damaged. And tomorrow on Jerusalem Day, ultra-nationalist Israelis will hold their flag march, marching with Israeli flags around the walls. And I wrote a couple of days ago, hopefully prevented by the government from parading through the Muslim quarter, but I now read that they're going to do exactly that. And a despicable ultra-right-wing group openly petitions for the eviction of all non-Jews from the city. Increasingly nationalist so-called Orthodox Jews seek to prey on the Temple Mount, despite a millennia-old rabbinic ruling that forbids Jews from worshipping there, well until the Messiah comes to restore the temple on the site. In 1837, Moses and Judith Montefiore ventured up there and were put in a harem by the two Orthodox chief rabbis at the time. The harem was quickly lifted when the Jerusalem rabbis were reminded that Moses brought with him large amount of cash to alleviate the poverty in the old city. Money talks always. And so I personally, I don't know about you, have mixed feelings about Jerusalem Day. But what about Jerusalem itself? A couple of weeks ago, Sharon and I were there. It was the day after serious Muslim riots following the end of Ramadan, and friends said, don't go there, but we went. We walked freely and peacefully through the Jaffa Gate, down the alleys to the Jewish quarter. It happened to be another significant day, Yom HaZikaron, the day of memorial for fallen Israeli soldiers. And as the sirens wailed at 11 o'clock, we stood with a group of Orthodox teenagers by a memorial on the spot where soldiers were killed in the liberation of Jerusalem. The students respectfully read poems, and their teachers intoned El Mali Rachamim and Kaddish. It was so dignified. And yet, from the windows of a nearby ultra-Orthodox school, the children chattered because they didn't observe this sacred day. How sad. And we continued our walk around the Jewish quarter with all of its archaeological proofs that it was a Jewish city in Roman times and centuries before that and later. And we walked freely into the Muslim quarter and down an alleyway leading to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And in a courtyard of a Muslim house, we were shown something I've never seen before, the Kotel HaKatan, the small wall, a section of the Herodian temple walls exposed, and a better place for Jewish prayer than the circus of the Kotel. And from the roof of the nearby Austrian hospice, fortified by Viennese strudel from their excellent cafe, we saw the whole city, its walls and quarters and rooftops. We saw the minarets and we saw the church spires, resting peacefully, it seemed, below us. And on to the Via della Rosa and the Holy Sepulchre, and the reminder that a Muslim family holds the keys, as the several Christian sects within couldn't agree on anything. Jews, Christians and Muslims, we all have our differences and broigases. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And so, out of the walls, if you turn right at the Jaffa Gate, you walk into another world, the Mamilo Mall, with designer shops and posh cafes. Outside of the walls is a different century. Trams gliding past the Damascus Gate, high-rise apartments on the hills, a glimpse of a separation wall, choking traffic with electric scooters weaving their way between cars and pedestrians. Montefiore's windmill, renovated now by Dutch Christians who could never resist a windmill. Yet in a car, diving under Mount Scopus, in a long new tunnel, you suddenly emerge into a biblical Judean hills with Bedouin shacks and camels, back to the Bible on your way down to Jericho. Let's pray for the peace of Jerusalem, ancient but modernizing, full of life and inspiration, and please God, one day, understanding. Amen. And I'd like to read a couple of passages, and I ask you to turn to page 375. 375. 375. We remember that the state of Israel was born in pain and has lived with peril. For others too have laid claim to the land, and thus there followed war and terror, displacement and bereavement. We recall this tragic history with sorrow and with sympathy for all who have suffered. But we trust that the high ideals of liberty, justice and peace proclaimed by Israel's founders will yet be achieved. We look forward to a time when all the peoples of the region will live together in mutual respect and harmony, and we pledge ourselves to work towards this. We affirm the faith of David Ben-Gurion. The state of Israel will prove itself not by material wealth, not by military might or technical achievement, but by its moral character and human values. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, says the Eternal One, ruler of the hosts of heaven. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
May those who love you prosper. Let there be peace within your walls, safety within your borders.
For the sake of my people, my friends, I say, let there be peace within you.
For the sake of the house of the Eternal One, our God, I will seek your good.
Violence shall no more be heard in your land, devastation or destruction within your borders.
But you shall call your walls salvation and your gates praise.
Eternal God, guardian of Israel and redeemer of humanity, grant that Zion may be a safe shelter for its children and a light to the nations. Give its people strength to build a land in which the vision of justice and mercy shall be fulfilled for the good of all of its inhabitants. Then shall the brightness of truth, compassion and peace shine forth from Zion, as it is written.
Torah, Udvadonai Mirushalayim, Ki Mitzion Tetzeh Torah, Udvadonai Mirushalayim.
And so on page 520, the Aleinu, page 520. Please rise and join with me. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol. Ated gudula liyotzeh bereshit. Asher sam chelkenu l'ched et shemo. V'goralenu l'hamlich malchuto.
V'anaknu koraim u'mishtahavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed aretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim ima'al, u'shchinat zo b'gof hemeromim. Hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efes zulato. Kakatu b'torato v'yadata hayom v'hashivota el levavecha. Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim. Bashamayim ma'al v'ala aretz mitachat ein od. And it has been said, the eternal God shall rule over all the earth. On that day the eternal God shall be one and known to be one.
V'nema v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz v'yom ha'u yihyeh Adonai
Creator of the universe, you give us life in which joys and sorrows are commingled in accordance with your wisdom. And you send death with its promise of eternal peace. Teach us to accept humbly and courageously whatever burden is laid upon us. And on this Shabbat, on the occasion of their yahrzeits, we make mention of the names of Joe Fash, the father of Barbara Liff and friend of Harry Benham, Sylvia Friedman, the mother of Simon Miller, Sarah Hart, the mother of Valerie Saunders, Robert Lowe, the husband of Sylvia Lowe, Trudy Stain, the sister of Helen Sugarman. And are there any other names that you wish to add to that list? May God comfort those who mourn and let the light of faith illumine the darkness of their sorrow with the hope of immortality, Strengthen us at all times with an unfailing trust in your providence, as we say, Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, Amad divrachi lutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agalav izman kariv v'imiru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromem v'yitnaseh, Vitada vitale vitalal shemei l'kudisha barichu. Le'ela min kol bechata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alama v'imeru amen. Yehi shalom araba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimroma. Ruya ose shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol b'nei adam. Imeru amen. May great peace descend from heaven, and abundant life be granted to us and all Israel. And let us say, Amen. Please sit down. Well, with Kevin not here, who's going to do the announcements?
I'm going to share my screen.
Oh yes,
I'm
okay.
going to do it.
Yep. Announcements.
She's doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. So, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much to Rabbi Andrew. And at least you didn't have the problem of a locked ark.
You saw that last night, yes.
No, I saw it this morning, but
Right.
it just made me laugh. So tomorrow at Harrow Rugby Club is an evening with a cappella ensemble, which should be very interesting and very enjoyable. And I think you can get tickets on the door for that if you haven't got them already. On Tuesday is the Untangling Our Tradition with the rabbis, and I'm not sure if they're doing about Shavuot on that day. But Wednesday is Tea and Torah, and then the Queen's Jubilee celebration. So on Saturday, all the Mosaic services will be held at the Guide and Scout huts in Hatch End. And after the services, there'll be a celebration, Jubilee and pre-Shavuot Kiddush. And if you are attending, you're asked to wear red, white and blue. And the services have different start times. So the liberal is at 11 a.m. as usual. And then Saturday, Tikkun Leil Shavuot, there's times there, 6:30 doors open, 7 o'clock Reform and Liberal evening services, and carrying on till 11 o'clock close. I think the Liberals will close there, and then I think that's the normal things after that. So there you go.
Thank you. Any other additions?
I think Stephen jumped the gun. Sorry. Yes, I mean, what remains to be done, Andrew, is to thank you for taking the service. I really enjoyed your exploration and sermon on Jerusalem and the day of celebration, whether it is, whether it isn't. And I think it relates to blessings and curses for last week. So, yeah, so thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Always lovely to have you back.
Thank you. It's nice to be back here in the flesh. It's just a wonderful atmosphere. I have to tell you, if you're able to come, and many of you can't come, I know, and therefore enjoying it online. And isn't it wonderful to have the miracle of this connection all across the local area? And maybe, well, we've got Rania here. Normally she's in Paris, but but that's something special about this congregation, and therefore we look forward to split services, but the spirit is there as one united congregation. As we end with Ein Keloheinu for a change on page 528.
So the singing's been very high standard today. There's been a great sound from the room, a great ruach.
And from you, and I have to say that,
well,
isn't it great? I have to say,
I'll
probably offend you, it sounds brilliant live. And somehow, sort of online, It's a bit distant, but
I'm-
now to be part of something
Oh
singing,
yeah.
it's great. isn't it?
Always
Thank
nice
you.
to be together. We can actually sing together.
It brings the warmth of your voice, I have to say.
Yes?
We're with you.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadoneinu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kamoshienu, mi Keloheinu, mi Kadoneinu, mi Kamakenu, mi Kamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Makenu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Ata Hu Eloheinu, Ata Hu Adonenu, Ata Hu Malkeinu, Atahu, Atahu, Atahu Moshiach.
Great. And just a final word. Adonai Ozli Amo Yitein, Adonai Yevarech et Amo V'Shalom. Eternal God, grant strength to your people. Eternal God, bless your people with peace and happiness, which I feel we've had today in the sunshine. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for a wonderful service.
Lovely, thank you. It's nice to see you. You got your Kiddush ready. I'm not sure what we now do.
I'm about to, just to let you know, we're going to do a joint Kiddush, but not for about another 10 minutes, because they're for once we're ahead. So I wonder if what we might do is just a very short Kiddush, particularly for the benefit of people on Zoom here.
Yeah.
And then we'll follow that by joining the Reform community for their Kiddush.
That's good.
Does that sound a good idea?
Yeah.
But I don't have any wine or anything.
But people online. Linda
if
has.
anybody
Linda
on
has.
Oh, we got,
Oh, there we go.
Yes, you can lead us
Does
online.
anyone want
yes.
to lead who's online?
Go on then.
Okay, please sing for us.
Israel.
Sorry?
Alison Warner doesn't look very well.
Oh, your signal's not great, Linda. Shall
Okay.
We'll do it from here. We'll do it from here.
Raise your glass.
Do it then.
We'll do it from here.
Okay.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת, בדורתם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי Shabbat vayinafesh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen. Amen.
L'chaim.
Anyone got any colour?
Anyone got a chollah there? Okay, we'll do it anyway. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom, and thank you for that, and happy birthday.
What I would like to say to everybody here, and especially those who are watching at home on Zoom or even on the internet, I mean, it's wonderful that we've seen the slow drift back to in-person services, and of course we're about within the next 3 months to have regular Shabbat morning services in Stanmore. So, you know, we want to encourage as many people to drift back slowly as possible. But rest assured, even when we're in the building, we are going to continue with hybrid services. That is the future for all of us. So rest assured, those of you that can't manage to get to Shawl for whatever reason. But it's just something that's just occurred to me, because we joined in the Kiddush with you. Obviously, we're going to have a joint Kiddush. And when we do move into Stanmore, the aim is to have 3 synagogues together having Kiddush. So we're going to have to come up with some kind of Zoom solution for that, because really we want one large Kiddush. So we're going to have to work on that technically. So watch this space.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say a special long life to Sylvia and family.
Of course. Joseph, what would we do without our wonderful Joseph? A one-man band. Oh, and Tom, I mean, you know, at some point we're going to be saying goodbye to you, but you keep us on track, so thank you.
Everyone.
Lovely to see you. And a nice birthday
Much to everybody. It's a very small.
Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
Oh.
Thank you.
Good. Right along.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks for hosting, Linda.
That's okay.
Hello, Linda.
Hello, Alison. I haven't spoken to you for ages. I must call you.
I have been a bit under the weather.
Did you have COVID or just...
Or something else?
Yeah.
I won't talk about it now.
I must give you a call. I'll try and do it next week sometime, maybe.
Yeah. How are you, Linda? All right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah. So next week, I've got the baby blessing in Stevenage of my granddaughter.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely.
Be in Stevenage next week.
Yeah. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom to you. I'm probably close now because
Sorry? All the best, Linda. Thank you so much for all your help and everything. Thank you.
Right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.